Hello and welcome
Hi.
everybody
Hello.
to the Berry Tea Shop's Investor Q&A. So my name is Temin and I'm one of the campaign managers here at Birchal, which is the licensed intermediary for this offer, and we are an equity crowdfunding platform. So just before I jump into today's Q&A or webinar, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land from which I am beaming to you today. So Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. And as many of you, I hope all of you know, we are joined today by the founders and the team of the Berry Tea Shops. We've got Paulina and Cliff and Sam. I will leave it to them to introduce themselves in a little bit, but I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown about what crowdsourced funding is to start with. So as I mentioned, Birchal is working with the Berry Tea Shop on their upcoming crowdsourced funding offer. Now, what is crowdsourced funding, you may ask? Crowdsourced funding, or as other people may know, equity crowdfunding, is a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors and wholesale and sophisticated investors through an online platform. That's Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, often their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. And these are private and publicly unlisted companies, which means that you're really getting an opportunity to invest in a business that is not listed publicly, and it's an exciting opportunity to say the least. So Birchal Financial Services is the licensed intermediary for the offer, and the information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes only, and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. Please do your own research, always consider the offer document and the general CSF risk warning before investing. More information about all of this is available over at birchal.com. So for a little bit of a rundown of where we're at in the process now. So you would have seen the Berry Tea Shop's company profile and pitch video on the Birchal page. So they're in their expression of interest campaign currently, where they're essentially going out and assessing the market interest in their offer. So when you have expressed interest, you've submitted a non-binding contract of like how much you may want to invest, and this gives the Berry Tea Shop a bit of an idea about what they might be able to raise, what they might do with those funds, and then they're putting in lots of hard work right now to finalize the key terms of their offer, and all of that information about what they're wanting to raise, what they're going to do with the funds, what their valuations are, what their plans are for growth. That will all be available in the offer document that is live in the coming weeks when they open their investment offer. So shortly they'll be closing the expression of interest campaign and then opening their investment offer. And that's when you'll be able to view all of those documents, the subscription agreement, the company constitution, and the offer document. And you'll be able to make the call for yourself whether you would like to join this team in their next phase of growth. So how is today's session going to run? So Paulina and Sam and Cliff are going to take us through a presentation for probably about 15-20 minutes, all about the Berry Tea Shop, where they've come from, what they're looking to do with the capital raise, and then we'll switch to a Q&A session. So if you look at the bottom of your screen there, you'll see a little Q&A bubble. If you have any questions throughout today's session, which I'm sure you've got them all backlogged waiting to send them through, please pop them in that Q&A box as we go along, and then when we head to the Q&A time, we'll go through all of those questions. And then again, we are recording today's session, so if you do have to jump off at any time, the recording will be sent around, and you can share this with your family and friends as well if you think they might be interested. So I know you're probably sick of hearing from me now, so I'll hand over to Paulina, Cliff, and Sam.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm actually going to start the conversation because I probably won't get a chance to actually say anything else. Pauline's going to take over shortly. But my name's Cliff. I'm a co-founder of the Berry Tea Shop. And I first of all just want to thank everyone for their support and interest in our offer. We're so overwhelmed with everyone's support and love and kindness. Everyone's been so incredibly lovely with their support so far. So thank you, everyone. As I said, my name's Cliff. This is my lovely wife, Paulina, a business partner, and we're the co-founders of the Berry Tea Shop. Yeah, we've been going 13 years now, which you already know if you've had a look at our offer document. But yes, we love our business. We're super passionate. We just want to make it bigger and better. And we would love you to all come on that journey with us. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Paulina. And I just want to say thank you so much again. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, honey. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We're a little bit nervous. This is not something we usually do. But yeah, so great to see such a great response today and so many of you interested in joining us for this Q&A. I also just want to introduce my brother, Sam, who's been a great support to us especially over the last 6 months. And he's done an amazing work on this campaign. He's got such a strong numbers and good head for facts and figures, and he's done a lot of work on this offer document, and also has been a great support to us. So he'll be talking later about all the numbers and all that side of things, which I'm sure you're all keen to hear about. But just to start with, I just want to talk a little bit about our story. So that's us on the screen with our dogs, Molly and Freddie. And so a little bit about our background. As you can tell from Cliff's accent, he's from the UK. So he's got a background as a chef. He's worked in several kitchens in London, and also owned his own sandwich bar and cafe in Paddington, London. And he came to Australia in 1996. So we met pretty much as soon as he came over, as he applied for a job in the cafe where my family owned. So he worked with myself and my mum and my dad and my sister and my brother, Sam.
I used to have lovely long hair, by the way.
And somehow he survived all of that and stuck with me. And we've been partners in business and life ever since. As you can tell from me, my background, and I'm not using my hands too much today, but I'm Italian, Australian born, but I come from a long line of entrepreneurs and business owners. So it pretty much goes back to my grandparents when they came over from Italy, all had their own stores. And that's just what they did, a lot of migrants did in the 50s and 60s. And then my parents had their own business. So it was just natural for me. I didn't know anything else. I just loved everything about business. I used to play shops as a kid. That was the best fun. So it's just it's in my blood. My cousins all have their own businesses. When we get together, that's all we talk. How's business? I mean, we talk about food, of course, but it's really, it's just something that's in us and just so natural for us and something we love so much. So as I said, we met in 1996 when Cliff came over from London, and so we worked together for a long time with my family. And then when our family sold the business, we went on to open our own cafe in Woolloomooloo in Sydney, and that was called Collier's Sandwich Company. And we had a dream to have one of our own, a place of our own. We really didn't have the funds to do that. We set that up with a personal loan, and we really had to make that work from day one. Everyone thought we were a bit crazy. It was a tiny little store in the back street of nowhere, not in the back street of nowhere, but it was in the back street, no passing trade. It was really a rundown little place, but we could see so much potential. And we knew there was a lot of offices around. There was businesses that had nowhere to get their lunch. And we just really knew, we believed 100% that we could make a go of it. And we knew from day one that it would be a success, and it was. So we built it up. We pretty much built it up. We had lines at the door every day. So it became just, way too big for us. We really couldn't keep up the pace. It was pretty fast paced, a lot of hard work, but it was worth it. And we built a really loyal following because we really did all the best sandwiches, best quality, best service. We're fast. We knew everyone's name, knew what they had for lunch, knew their coffee, and made some really great Yeah.
We also got really good quality ingredients, which was the main
Yeah,
key.
definitely.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of write-ups in the Good Food Guide, Good Living. It was days before social media, so there was no sort of social following then. But we definitely became well known, and we sold it in 2007. And because we'd had us enough of inner city life and that sort of lifestyle, and we sort of really dreamed of a quieter life and moved to the town of Bury. So basically our background is hospitality. It's what we do. We love it. We love seeing people enjoy themselves. We love providing, an experience, to bring joy into someone's day. And it's just about, for us, quality as well, and all the little details that are really important. And so that's just what we do. It's just natural for us, and that's how we built. That's where our experience lies.
Yeah.
Not so much in the technical side of things. We're more, the front and building the experiences. So that's a bit about us. So really about our business, like why a tea shop? So with Cliff's English background, he grew up drinking tea, pretty much. He wasn't allowed soft drink like the other kids. Had to drink a nice hot cup of tea. I was going to say on a hot summer's day, but they weren't very rare. We as Italians, we did not grow up drinking tea unless we were very ill. My dad, if he was sick, he might have a cup of chamomile tea, but otherwise, tea was something, it was all about coffee. So I was really introduced to tea through Cliff, and then on my first visit to the UK and meeting his family and mum and dad, and sitting in the kitchen and the teas, the kettle's going all day long, and cup after cup of tea and the lovely biscuits and the whole thing is what I loved. And then we sort of visited the English countryside, and I loved all the little English tea shops in the country towns, and just thought, I'd love to do that one day. That was just a little dream. So, which was secretly planted at the back of my head. And then when we moved to Bury, we just thought it was the perfect place for that. And we sort of called it our tea change. We went from our, fast-paced, coffee lifestyle, city lifestyle, to the country, and then to the tea, which we felt was really about slowing down and taking time. So, when we moved to Bury, we decided in 2010, we opened the doors to the Bury Tea Shop. And our mission really was, as I said, about the ritual of tea, and like inspiring people to sit down and take time out and just enjoy that beautiful, simple ritual. At the time, like good quality tea was also hard to find. And most cafes, if you were a tea drinker, it was just an afterthought. You were given, the coffee came out, it was all beautiful with the coffee art. And then the tea was like, metal teapot with the tea bag hanging out, and it would leak everywhere. And, it really was an afterthought. So we really wanted to, provide a place for people who really were passionate about tea, and also to really, create a ritual around that experience as well, because we feel that going out for coffee is a totally different experience. It is that buzz, you got the coffee machine going, and there's that sort of energy and buzz that goes along with it, where tea is a more calming ritual. It's slow, it's more elegant, it's there's a different energy to it altogether, which we wanted to celebrate within our store. So and it really was a thing. We just really noticed that we became that fast-paced world. People were just grabbing a coffee on the way to work, gulping it down, just living that sort of stressed out, lifestyle, just looking for that adrenaline kick, which, to get them through the day. So we feel tea is more about taking the time and the moment, enjoying the moment, and the ritual around boiling the kettle, putting the leaves in the pot, letting it steep, pouring the tea and sipping your tea. You can't gulp your tea. So that's what we love about it. So really our story so far, when we opened on the June long weekend in 2010. I think, again, people thought we were mad. They thought tea shop, in a country town. People, I don't know if people really had faith that it was something a little bit different, and also, not in a big city. So but we opened the doors on the long weekend, which is very busy in Berry. And we didn't really realize how much of a response we were going to have. So just Cliff and I were there on the day, ready to open the doors. And then we were hit instantly. Cafe was full. The people were ready and waiting for us. I was stuck behind the counter. Cliff was in the kitchen making the tea, taking the orders, serving the tea, washing up, and giving me the looks like
I was crying.
You might have been
Secretly crying behind the counter. We now have 6 people working on that day.
Yes. So a bit of a difference. Yeah. Because I was stuck behind the counter. So I couldn't help at all. But the funny thing is we actually had a different vision for it entirely. Like I'd bought a stool to put behind the counter, and we thought that we would possibly at times, be able to sit down and have a cup of tea.
Read a book.
Yeah. But on that day, we kept tripping over it. So we had to just move the stool, get the stool out of the way. So, we never really had that quiet moment ever again. So, unfortunately we moved for the quiet country life, but we brought ourselves with us, and we couldn't escape. We just had that in us to want to make things successful and busy, and that's what we do. So now we just we're creating that experience for our customers, and we love, we sometimes feel like swans where we're doing all the running, on the underneath, but with the grace and, calm at the top. So, so in the beginning, we didn't really have experience. Sorry, I'm just going to go back there a minute. I'm just going to give myself a little notes. So I think, sorry, guys, I just lost my train of thought there. I just rambled on a minute.
She does that.
So basically, so we opened the store, and then we really felt that in 2017, we did a rebrand because we felt like our packaging was really quite simple, and it didn't really, and quite plain. We didn't really reflect the quality of the tea that we were offering. So we really worked hard on a rebrand, and now, came up with these beautiful embossed tins, with gold and engraved, which we felt was more reflective of our product. And then that sort of started a whole chain of events where we thought, okay, now we need to renovate the whole store. And we had this idea, and then when we were forced into lockdown in 2020, we thought that was a good opportunity while we had the time. So we did a rebrand. We felt that just because when we opened, a store was very much like going into grandma's house, there was the doilies and the vintage china and the beautiful bunting everywhere and tea cozies, and which was lovely. It was really suited the time, but we felt like it needed a bit of a lift and a bit more sophistication. So we took a lot of inspiration from a bit more of the English tea shops that we saw, like more like your Fortnum and Masons and the Whittards of Chelsea, more of the ones on the London high streets that had a bit more elegance to it. So but we still kept that little vintage charm as well. We still have that heart to it. We're just trying to blend that modern and also keeping the nostalgia and the vintage element as well. So then also during 2020 and lockdown, we obviously the store wasn't open, so we moved all our energy and focus to our online store, and obviously boosted sort of our online marketing, Facebook marketing, Google marketing, and we were pretty much trading in 2020, doing what we normally did on store, and we were doing that online while we were in lockdown, with our doors closed. And then when we opened again, that happened to be the June long weekend when lockdown sort of opened, and then it's like the whole of Sydney just decided that they wanted to get out of Sydney, and we were hit really hard that weekend, again taken completely off guard, and we probably tripled what we did on that very first weekend. And that was without a cafe, because our cafe was still closed with restrictions. So again, our shelves were absolutely wiped out. We did not have hardly any tea left, and that was the Saturday, and we still had 2 days to go. So we had to call in the staff that we had and friends to help then keep the stock shelved shelves stocked up for the rest of the weekend. And then that just didn't stop. It just carried on every weekday. I guess people were working from home, so they were just, doing little day trips to Berry during the week. And yeah, we doubled our turnover just like that. So it hit us really quite hard because it was instant. We didn't plan for it. We didn't have strategies in place. So from then on, we were just, it felt like we were just chasing our tails. We were just trying to keep up and putting out fires where we could, and trying to just keep providing our product and get in stock. And so that was a challenge, although it was fantastic, still a challenging time because, we hadn't planned for that quick growth. But it has continued. So sorry, in 2021, we did actually hit $1 million in turnover for the year. And that was, an amazing achievement just because it had just doubled from the previous year. And that's just, continued now. So we've just maintained that pace. So, that's about that. But we just feel really that the traction that we've had, our experience, the 13 years that we have been trading, we worked for the first 10 years, Cliff and I were at the front. We were there listening to customers, talking to them, understanding what they wanted, trying to improve our product and our offering and our experience, and listening to their feedback, engaging with them and creating, great friendships that we now have. We've really made ourselves part of the community. We have built a really loyal customer following because we really care about people. We care about, we know that, about their lives, their family, their grandmas, their kids. So we've really, we've built that loyalty, and we feel that history. We've also been through a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs, and we are in a small town. So we feel like 13 years is a really big achievement for a small business as it is, as well as being a tea shop, which is very specific, and also, in a country town. So, we're really proud of that kind of history, and also feel that now there's so many more opportunities, and there's a really great time. There's so many things that we're missing out on that we can't fulfill because of our current infrastructure and, funds as well. So we know there's huge potential for growth. So seeing here, basically the first 10 years of trading, we just had really steady growth. So it was just year on year, a little bit better each year. In 2018, we'd sort of reached a turnover of 500,000. And then, as I mentioned earlier, things changed then. So since 2019, we've seen 60% year on year online growth, and 20% year on year growth in store. And we've also grown from 5 to 18 staff, which is amazing. And that's a whole new, challenge at times as well, managing a team. And also because Cliff and I had to step out of the front of the store, so we were very hands-on. So now it was having to step back and, create systems and train our team to give the same service that we were giving, and also to trust them and let go of our baby. So and so far it's been great. We've got an amazing team. So and then we have built a really strong brand loyalty online, where there's thousands of 5-star reviews. So on Google and TripAdvisor, on our online store, on Facebook. We love seeing all the reviews. We probably received 2 1-star reviews in this whole time, and that was just very a random review. So that makes us so happy. We love seeing that. That brings us joy, and it's why we do what we do. And we've also got a really engaged social media following. So nearly 11,000 followers now on Instagram, and 7,000 on Facebook. People are really engaged with us. I manage all the social media. So I'm always on there and engaging with our community, and also try to engage with other businesses in the area and other people doing similar stuff to us. So we have a really lovely community online. And we've also got 13,000, back Sam, sorry. And we also created a loyalty program because we really wanted to give our regular customers and our loyal customers discounts, regular discounts, and reward them for shopping with us over the years. So we've now got 13,000 loyalty members and 15,000 email subscribers, which we send out emails to twice a month, which also can be improved. So yeah, we're really proud of that. You can change. So our products, yes, we live and breathe tea, literally. So we've got 48 varieties of tea, which are all hand blended by Cliff, and they're packed by our team in the store. That's now currently done in the evenings. That's the only time that the store is not being used. So we're really just limited by this space at the moment. But everything's packed fresh. So pretty much our shelves are packed, 3 times a week. So a product is really fresh and turns over really quickly, which is a really big point of difference. It's not sitting on the shelf for months and months. At the beginning, we didn't know a lot about tea or where to source it. We knew we loved tea, but had no idea where to source it from, and also how to blend tea. So we did enlist the help of a tea master in the beginning to help us source our teas and create some blends. And then since then, with Cliff's background, in cooking and just, his ability to create nice tasting food, it's very similar. It sort of aligns really well with tea, and he's created more blends along the way and also improved our current blends. He's always like, oh, I've just added a bit more rose now, or he's constantly tweaking them to make them better and better. So so our teas are sourced from some of the best producers in Australia, China, Japan, Sri Lanka, India, and I think that's all the main countries. And then we have all our organic herbs, certified organic herbs, which we do source from a few suppliers in Australia who are sourcing them from overseas, because they all come from different countries. And then we have all Australian grown fruit in our blends as well. They come from Gin in Queensland, a family owned business up there who grow the fruit and also dry the fruit and send them down to us. Our big point of difference is our teas don't contain any flavorings, which a lot of teas on the market do. A lot of people are surprised. Some of those lovely sounding fruit teas or herbal teas can actually contain flavorings, and we just didn't want to go along that road, and it just wasn't something we believed in, and we just feel that it really compromised on the taste and the health benefits and the quality of the tea. So it's something we really are passionate about, and that's our point of difference, and we know that our customers come to us for that because they know it's good quality tea. So, and then sorry, Sammy. So we also offer a range of teawares. So in the beginning, we visited trade fairs and exhibitions. I did a lot of research online to find some of the best brands to stock in our store. And we're really proud to offer some really beautiful brands from around the world. We've got Emma Bridgewater, UK, Zero Japan, Robert Gordon, Australia, and Ashdene, who also Australia. And then we also have a lot of lovely local handmade kind of products. So, from ceramics to honeycomb to local honey, Rocky Road. And we just try to support local little handmade producers as much as we can as well. We've got something for everyone. So there's so many different styles. So we feel like we've covered all that, but we know there's so much more potential to expand our teawares range as well. And we'd love to also have our own signature branded teawares. We've experimented a little bit. I've made some contacts in China. So I have some connections there, and we've had some of our own accessories made, and we know there's just so much more potential, and there's so many things we want to get done, but that'll again cost money and a lot of outlay. So that's something that's in our plans as well. Then we've got our cafe, which we offer as just to create more of an immersive experience in our store, so people actually can sit and then take the time out, enjoy, one of our teas. You can try any of our 48 teas, with handmade cake, freshly baked scones. It's a very simple offering, but it works really, really well. And people just love it. It's just like going to, your grandma's house. It's just very comforting and lovely. And, the cakes, cakes are fresh, and they were baked by Cliff for 10 years, all his recipes. But in the last 3 years, he's now handed over the reins to Katie, who's another lovely English girl who works for us. And she now bakes to Cliff's recipes as well. So yeah, I think I talk briefly on this and then I'll hand over to Sam. So yeah, basically we've got the three main revenue sources. And we really like in-store is our main one. Obviously it's 73%. And we believe really the strength of our brand lies in the fact that we are in a beautiful country setting. And as well as we talked about the experience that we've created for our stores. So that really is encapsulated in the people are buying that tea, and that brings them back to that time in their store. Most people who have had our tea have been to our store before and then purchased again online or come back to visit. So that sort of really resonates with them, and that is the brand. And we feel that in store, we've really always working on creating a better experience. So every little detail is thought about, the way the ribbon's tied, the way the sticker goes on the bag, how everything's done. I'm very, very fussy. I really care about all those little things, the way things are facing. Yeah, that's all part of the experience. And when people come in, it's just a beautiful, everything just feels lovely. And yeah, I think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah.
And our biggest thing is our customer service. We love to go just above and beyond and treat people, it's like welcoming them into our home, making them feel comfortable, greeting everyone, treating them like family. And that's a big part of how, our store has become the success that it is today.
It's our baby as well, because we don't have children. So we love it. We love our business.
So so we feel then, obviously online is where we really feel that the store with the rebrand and everything, obviously, it's improved. There's probably a little bit of potential there, but we've reached probably some of the limit of where we could go with that, but the potential is really online. So all our teawares are available to purchase online. They're pretty much packed and shipped daily from our store. We ship all around Australia currently. We were heavily marketing online, but now we've pulled back. So everyone who does order online is just a regular or returning customer and who knows our brand. So, but we know, and Sam will talk about this shortly, but where the potential is for marketing more online. And establishing more of a sales funnel there. Wholesale is really a small part of our market. We do not push it at all. We would love to do it. We get so many requests. We are turning back emails and requests all the time for wholesale. We just can't fulfill it at the moment. We are just able to really fulfill what we have in our current store and online in our current model. So it's just going to require buying more tea, having more people packing it, and also having someone designated to managing those wholesale accounts. We want to also be able to provide those customers the same experience. We took on a little bit there and felt that we weren't giving the service that we would have liked. So we really want to give more time to that and focus on that as well. So so I will hand over to Sam now. Thanks for listening there. That's just a little bit about us. He'll talk about our strategy, and we might jump in a bit later as well with the Q&As. Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible, given time. So I guess a lot of this will be outlined in the offer document in more detail, but just I know a lot of you are curious, and some of the questions are already popping up where the growth is going to come from. And I guess as a berry tea shop in a small country town, I think, what Pauline and Cliff have done so far is just create a great foundation, and all the ingredients to be able to now scale. And I think, as Pauline's already touched on, one of the main impediments at the moment has just been infrastructure. So I think first up is, bolstering that infrastructure, having a separate space for packing, production and fulfillment, rather than trying to sort of double that up in the retail space, to basically unlock the capability to scale, and then to actually drive that growth. It'll come from amplifying marketing, which I'll jump to in a little bit more detail on the next slide. So just really trying to boost online, but also as Pauline mentioned, trying to enable more growth in the wholesale opportunities also, and be able to say yes more than no, which they're currently doing at the moment. Some additions to that, which will sort of build on that, is extending the product range. That's as in terms of tea formats, if that's tea bags or other ways that open up more channels, and also trying to do a signature range of Berry Tea Shop branded products, which will obviously increase the unique aspect of what Pauline's and Cliff are offering, but also perhaps unlock more margin as well. Some other points to extend on that is extending more brand collaboration. So this is both within tea, in terms of some of the stuff that the Berry Tea Shop's done recently with a local hotel chain, where they've done a co-brand in a different product format, but also into new categories like collaborating with people producing gin, people producing candles, so actually extend into different markets through collaborations, and not only sort of co-branding sort of tea in different formats. And then the kind of stretch goals are around producing a ready to drink range. This will go hand in hand with the increasing the wholesale channel, so a different format which enables things like supermarket shelves and these types of things, or different categories which the tea shop is currently not serving. And then finally, there's a lot of demand from people in other towns and cities that they want the Berry Tea Shop in-store experience for them also. So, we'll also be looking to lay the foundation for more stores and more retail opportunities as the Berry store has kind of maxed out its potential. It'll be out seeing which other locations would benefit from a retail store as well. So just diving a little bit deeper on what we see as the greatest and most immediate opportunity for growth, which is online. As Pauline's already indicated, it's grown at 60% year over year in the last 4 years, but we feel like there's lots of scope to grow that further. Just to give you an idea, in 2022, for example, our sales are made up of 36% direct sales, so people coming directly to our store, 25% from organic search, so people finding us via Google, but not in a paid way, and then 25% from paid advertising and 6% from our email marketing. Average order online is $69, and in 2022 we had 59% of our sales online were from returning customers. That's probably reflected in that direct and organic search aspect. And then with the lever which is available to us, which is basically increasing our spend online, just to give you an example with Facebook ads, and why we feel like it's such an appealing opportunity for us, is that our current acquisition cost for a customer is $25. So every $25 in ads basically generates a $75 sale. So from even from our with our Facebook ads currently, which is relatively unique for us, our ad spend is immediately profitable. So for every dollar we spend on ads, we're producing $1.40 in gross profit. So this means we can, if it continues at that sort of customer acquisition cost as we increase the spend, that'll immediately sort of go towards increasing gross profit. The only thing that sort of has been an impediment in the past is that we do need some base infrastructure to be able to support that type of growth, and if that is the physical space or dedicated staff. And so we need to get that scale that advertising to a certain point where then not only is that every dollar spent producing gross profit, but it's actually producing hitting the bottom line and increasing net profit. And at that point we'll really have a sort of flywheel that starts to really have great impact. So, we'll be one of the first focuses will be scaling the ad spend and just trying to increase those online sales. We'll need to also scale the infrastructure as we've already suggested, to be able to support that online growth. And then, on the organic side also, and I guess also supporting the ad spend, optimizing the website. There's many opportunities for doing that. A lot of that has been put on the back burner, but there's a whole list of optimizations that we have in the pipeline to both increase conversion, but also increase average spend and and repeat rates. And then look at also optimizing the customer journey. So just making sure we really are leveraging, somebody visits in store, the tin has they clearly know that reordering through online is possible, increasing subscriptions, increasing email remarketing and some of the automations, and really just trying to maximize customer value over time and make it easy as possible for them to reorder and continue to be sort of loyal customers. And then just finally, Temen's already touched on some of this, but just jumping on some high level terms of the offer. So in the very shortly, our offer document will be released, which has all of this in detail, and some of this is still kind of in draft form and being completed in collaboration with I guess taking feedback from this expression of interest phase, but also in discussion with Birchal and all their experience with similar raises in the past. So the offer will go live next Tuesday. Those that expressed interest will get first look. So there'll be a period where they get the opportunity to invest before others. And there has been times in the past where offers have not come out of that phase. So they've kind of closed in the period where it's only been offered to those that have expressed interest. So it is important to kind of get in first. We will be distributing the offer document to those that have expressed interest, and I guess anybody after, which will have more details about everything we've shared today, but also financials for the company and all the shareholder rights, and goes into quite great detail. So be expecting that as well. And at this stage, based on the feedback we've had and how the expression of interest are going, we'll be looking to raise somewhere between 250 and 600K, and that'll be in exchange for roughly 4 to 10% of the company. So that percentage shift is depending on how much we end up raising, because there will be a sort of pre-money valuation for the business set, and then it will just depend.
And also, I'll just jump in here, Sam. Please keep in mind, everybody, that the key terms of the offer are not fully set yet, as Sam mentioned. So when the offer document is released next week, when the campaign goes live, you'll be able to see all of these juicy details. So yeah, for now, nothing set in stone.
Nothing set in stone, or drafted. I guess ballpark indications, because I guess there are some questions even in the chat. But it will be firmed up as that time. And then also importantly for those even in the chat and those that I know Pauline's indicated, we've had a lot of people interested who are just loyal customers and love the brand and want to support Pauline and Cliff and the business. There will be a range of investor benefits which we will also release when that goes live. For example, discounts, exclusive access to products, exclusive access to content. So beyond owning shares and what benefits come with that, there will be layered on top of that some things that will hopefully along the lines of the types of things that Berry Tea Shop have done before, some exclusive opportunities and products for those that do invest, depending on the amount invested. And then just keen to point out that Pauline and Cliff are interested and available to discuss the offer with anyone who is interested in learning more, whether or not it's a follow-up from today or other things that get shared in the interim. There is the opportunity just to jump on the phone and have a chat and learn more, and also share with us, importantly, what's of interest to you and why you're considering the investment. We're really enjoying learning more about that as well. And then finally, as Temen's already touched on, Birchal does have a great range of resources and on their website related to all the questions that have come up over the years, with the range of raises that they've done. So anything specific to crowdsource funding and that, jump on the website or look to the support team, or it can come through us or however it is. But we understand for a lot of people this is something that maybe they haven't heard about before this offer. And I guess just we're here to also support in the process and give comfort to that for those that are considering investing. that's us. Sorry, it's
Absolutely.
gone a little long, and hopefully we have some time for questions.
Not a worry.
We
Thank
had a
you
few
so much.
We had a few technical problems at the start, so if we come across a little bit frazzled, we are. So, but yes. Thank you,
No,
guys.
that was
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for such a great presentation. We will head over to the Q&A time now. So if anybody still has some burning questions sitting there, please pop them in the Q&A box down below, as I mentioned before. I might kick us off, though. I personally would love to know how many cups of tea you drink a day and what type of tea it is.
You go, Pauline.
Well, not enough tea, actually.
Maybe I'm better off answering this question.
Yeah.
I think so. It's very terrible, but I find it hard to drink tea on the run. So I have to be sitting down in the ultimate, situation to be enjoying my tea, and I cannot drink it cold. So I just end up throwing lots of tea down the sink. Because I need to be sitting and enjoying it, my tea. So look, it's probably 3 cups a day, really, ultimately. And my favorite is the Madam Grey, and I think and the South Coast breakfast. Yeah.
Okay, so I think, as Pauline and Cliff indicated earlier, they've more so built this for other people to experience. They're doing all the sacrifice so that other people can enjoy it.
If you want to drink tea, don't open a tea shop.
For me, it's I do 4 different teas a day. The Australian Billy tea happens post coffee, and then green tea after that to kind of get you through the rest of the day. Chai is a little bit of a most days, and then my wife and I have a nighttime ritual where we have a little nighttime tea before bed. So we blend 2 of Paulina's and Cliff's
creates his own blends.
What is it, the digestive and the nighty-night, Sam?
Yeah.
So a bit of digestive.
Wonderful.
I don't know if I like that. Oh dear, seriously. But anyway.
So yeah, if anyone wants to buy that secret blend, they can reach out to me.
Contact you.
Fantastic. All right. Perfect. Sam, if you wouldn't mind just pulling down the presentation now, just so we can have everybody's faces across the top. So we have quite a few questions that have come through now. So I'll just jump to a few of those, and don't worry if we run over time. If anybody has to jump off, as I mentioned, we will be sending this recording around. Obviously, it's been so awesome to work with you guys, and I know that community is at the heart of everything that you do. How are you going to keep that as the heart of what you do as you grow the business?
I don't think we cannot. It's just how we do. We just care too much about it. We just care about every little thing and every, anything that goes wrong, any customer that's unhappy, we are onto it straight away, and we just can't do it any other way. So it's really important for us to maintain the heart of the brand, because that's what it's about. And
it's all about the community. It's always been about the community for us. So the tea shop will be nothing without the community and the community of tea lovers. And so
So with that in mind, then as you are bringing on a larger number of investors, that some people, I'm guessing, will be part of your community. I know that there's been some great interest from your community there. Will there be opportunities for these investors to get involved in the business? Like how do you intend to engage with investors, and whether it's taking feedback from them? Will there be any will you be asking any of them to kind of join in any strategic matters?
Absolutely. That's what we're probably excited about the most, having a really good group of people to be able to kind of have a brains trust, because you have to have so many different hats on with this business now, because it's so much busier than it initially was. So sometimes you don't know everything, and
we don't have all the skills.
We don't have all the skills. So we're really, really excited about the possibility of having people on board that we can actually go to and ask the questions, and hopefully get some really good answers and some solutions to the problems that will actually pop up. So that's really exciting for us.
And I think
absolutely
a great part of that's probably, for a lot of people, that would be sort of one of the benefits of being involved, because we will have a very exclusive community, whether it's a Facebook group or just by, you know, our regular updates and emails that we will be able to ask, you know, maybe we create a new blend and in what's, you know, let's name this new blend, or, you know,
we've done that in the past as well. If I've come up with a new blend, I'll try it on customers and get their feedback first. So and even new products we've tried on customers or given something free to check out for us and give us some feedback. So yeah, we've always been doing that, but this is just going to be so much better because we'll have this group of people that we can call upon, hopefully. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And people that you know that love and adore your brand, and many that have probably been to your shop. So it's, you know, it's super exciting. We have a question here about how formal your purchasing arrangements are. You mentioned that you source teas from different locations to make these amazing blends. In terms of those arrangements, do you have a way to mitigate like price volatility, like volatility? How are you managing those parameters, like cost parameters?
I think the more you buy, the cheaper it is. And we haven't had that chunk of money in the bank, that big chunk of money to be able to buy tea in really big bulk. So we've been so lucky with the supplies that we do use that we can buy it in smaller amounts and actually get it here relatively cheaply. So we've never ever had a problem, apart from during COVID, with regards to not having enough stock. So and we've got lots of different avenues of being able to get the stock from different companies if anyone does run out. We've actually created some really good connections with different suppliers. So
we don't have anything formal in place, and that's probably obviously something we're going to have to work on going forward.
That's so exciting because it's all ready to go. It just takes that financial kind of,
absolutely. Seems like there's endless room for growth. It's awesome. We have a few questions here around minimum investment amount, valuation, and future projections. So I might jump in and handle this one. So a little bit of context about how we run these offers as the licensed intermediary. So ASIC, who is the regulatory body, they take a really firm view about future projections, whether that be product, revenue, or return on investment, as a lot of these ventures are really early stage growth ventures and don't have huge trading histories. It's often misleading to include information in these offers that could be considered speculative. For example, projected growth, revenue. But what investors do receive in the offer is the last 12 months of financial statements to see what financial position the company is in, their revenue, accomplishments, customer base to date, and what they plan to do with the funding. So the other part of the offer document is the risk section as well. So the company is raising capital, and it's of course important to also factor in these risks when considering your investment. So as Sam mentioned before, Paulina and Cliff are more than happy to jump on a call with each and every one of you, I'm sure, if they have the time to speak more about this. But yeah, we can't make any future projections at the moment. So,
and the minimum, did you cover the minimum?
Yeah, so as well as that, so the minimum investment amount and what the final minimum maximum targets will be finalised in the offer document. So none of that is currently available right now, as the company is still going through a price discovery, which is what the expression of interest is for. So in terms of jumping back to some other questions now, we have a few people that have just dropped in some really lovely notes saying that they've come to the Berry Tea Shop since 2012 and they just love and adore you guys, which is always so nice to see. In terms of expansion, what you mentioned potentially like opening other stores, will that be a franchise model, or how do you plan on doing that?
Yes, I might take this one if that's okay. I guess our family and us personally have a little bit of experience in multi-store operation, both in franchising and owner operated situations. I think first instance would always or very likely be owner operated. I don't think we would move straight to franchising in the first instance is normally just a process of, repeating it, by ourselves. And I think as indicated, that would be how we'd likely go. And then from that point, then there would be the flexibility to explore other ways of doing that, if that is franchising or continuing to go, under our, I guess as owner operated. So I think definitely owner operated in the first instance, but we do think it could be a good candidate for franchising should we choose to go that path, because we can, control the product and product quality at least, and distribute that through a sort of franchise model, and then try and get people who are as committed and the right fit as Paulina and Cliff have been for the first store, to sort of be the drivers of those businesses in those different locations. And at least they'll be being supplied tea and teawares and the product from head office. So we think it's well poised to explore either way, and then just depending on how quickly we want to scale and what the possibilities are for capital, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for that. We've got another question just popped in. So while you are looking at expanding into other locations, have you considered enlarging your berry store retail space that you currently have?
Yes, we would love to do that. Yes, especially because we only have a very limited cafe as well. So possibly having the store in one store and then the cafe in a separate area. So that's definitely something we are considering and would love the opportunity to do that as well. So again, it just takes funding to do that. So it's definitely something. Because we are turning away customers in our cafe currently because of the limited seating. So there's definitely potential there.
And I guess the potential, if depending on site that we find, like when we're talking about expanding to try and have a space to pack and do teas, if there is the opportunity for that to be a multi-use space, then we will would go down that avenue also. So if there is a space that enables that wholesale that infrastructure growth, but can also expand some sort of capability to retail, then that would be a sort of kill two birds with one stone sort of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, do you see? Obviously, you mentioned that when it comes to wholesale, it's just an avenue that that there is such incredible demand, but you just don't have the capabilities to currently expand into. Do you see the growth more from the B2B wholesale side in long-term vision, or like as a dream, or do you see it more B2C?
I think it would always still be B2C, but we just haven't tapped into the B2B market really as much as we would like, and I can just see there is still so much potential there. So I think both.
They do also complement each other as well, I guess. As you extend wholesale, you're extending the kind of brand, and then if they've got a B2C sort of opportunity off the back of that, that's where somebody buys or comes across your tea in somebody's store in a whole different place, and then they can reorder from you online or something else. I think they both do work hand in hand, but I think I think it's always going to be at this stage it looks like it's a large percentage is always going to be that consumer market, and the wholesale is just an opportunity for growth and to extend that and extend the brand.
I kind of think with finances, I think the wholesale part of the business is actually quite an easy thing to execute. We've been discussing the online stories where we really want to make our mark with it, because our online store is pretty good. We've got a hell of a lot of products on there compared to a lot of the other tea companies, and it's just about getting the marketing right for that and getting it out there and getting more people, because when we were paying for the marketing, we were getting so many orders, you know, but we unfortunately just had to cut back on that. And that's the growth really is for us is the online store, because it gets everywhere. It's all over Australia. So, that's what I'm really excited about, the online store.
Definitely.
So,
And within that, you are, you know, within like a space where there's quite a few tea brands out there that people know and love, but obviously there's something quite special about yours. How are you going to distinguish yourself from market leaders in the online space? And a question to tack on to that, do you have any IP or trademarking on your own tea blends? What makes them so special?
Yeah, so I think first one, in terms of differentiation, I think like if that's the first part, I think it's at this stage it's sort of inherent in the offering, I guess, like the fact that our ads so far, when we extend into new audiences, do convert well. Like there is just a natural sort of inbuilt differentiator there, just in terms of or I guess a proven differentiator. And I guess, you know, as there is with extending and expanding and accelerating that growth, I think that kind of you know, that does also enhance over time as well. So I think it's something that you know, at this stage of the business hasn't necessarily been defined. It's just something that, you know, from the stuff that Paulina was talking about earlier with the personal touches and the you know, the look and feel of the brand and the quality of the tea and these sorts of things that, you know, they didn't sit down and do that in a business plan to begin with, and this is how we're going to segment or differentiate. It's just, you know, it's an instinct to tap on to, you know, which has come from sandwich bar to the thing before that, you know, to feel a need and then seize it, and then as that gains traction, you know, I guess ramp that up. So at this stage, it's just something that the growth and the track record is showing that there's kind of product market fit there, I guess. And then on the IP, you know, trademarking side on the blends, you know, strictly speaking, no. Or I guess, like, you know, IP is a loose one. There's obviously IP there because they're our recipe, you know, our recipes and unique to us. Obviously, someone could go and taste and try and reverse engineer it, but then they've got to layer on the brand and the, you know, everything else that goes with it. But if somebody else, you know, came out tomorrow and did a similar herbal blend, you know, it might be difficult to sort of challenge. I guess tea is one where there is, you know, that's probably not the way that you defend. You know, you don't necessarily go out and someone's doing a nighttime tea or a sleep tea or something.
Well, everyone's doing a nighttime tea. Everyone's doing a, you know, morning tea. So I mean, we are a lot of our brands like do cross over with a lot of teas. And again, as Sam says, it's just like going to a cafe and everyone's doing avo on toast, but everyone does it a little bit differently, you know. So it's just the ingredients that we use and how our quantities and the love that we put in. That's the secret.
Yeah,
but it's also got to taste nice, you know. That's a big thing about, like, you know, coming from kind of a cooking background, you know, it's got to taste nice, and there are products out on the market that, you know, they're great, but they may not necessarily have a great flavor to them. So that's one thing that we're about, having the essential ingredients in there that are really, really great ingredients, but also it's got to taste nice. So otherwise you're not gonna sell it. You're not gonna, you know, people have one.
It's true.
So, and it goes in the back.
And as you said, Cliff, you know, you're testing your new teas on people in the shop. You can watch with hawk eyes whether they're enjoying it or not.
Reaction, so true.
He checks every pot that comes back to make sure it's been,
just in the essence of time, we might wrap it up there, but I did just want to ask you one more question. Why equity crowdfunding over other sorts of you know, capital raising journeys?
Well, we just, you know, it's something we had come across, and just, you know, we really just thought it was the perfect way for us to raise capital. Obviously, it's very hard as a small business owner to get, you know, traditional loans through banks and everything as well. So we really thought this was a great idea, because our community can get involved, and share in this journey with us and be a part of all, you know, our success as well. And we know, because we have that, a strong community, that it'd be perfect for us. And and we can share all the highs and lows.
And
too.
our community, like, you know, we have not had one negative comment about this. We've just had such great comments from people. And it's and the overwhelming, you know, feel is that everyone wants to be part of it. Which is so humbling. It's just incredible, you know, because of you know, we have put our heart and soul into it because we do love it. And the fact that people recognize that and they also do love it. So it's lovely. It's a great, you know, it's a great thing to happen, and it's a great feeling to kind of have that people you know, really appreciate it. So so with a bit of support, and you know, if this goes well, it can only get better. So and we want to have a warehouse in the Shoalhaven. We do still want to pack everything by hand, you know. Maybe we get a tea bag making machine, but it's still going to be very, very hands-on. It's never going to be something that we're thinking about outsourcing and getting someone else to do, because you lose the essence of the business then. So
we've just got to improve our, you know, the way we do things, and we know it's just going to be way more efficient.
Come to the tea shop, have a look in our little storeroom and see where we do everything. And you know.
This is just so exciting. Thank you so much, guys, for such an awesome presentation. And thank you so much to everybody for joining the Berry Tea Shop Investor Q&A.